The harsh truth about women in their 20s. Young, full of energy, full of life, yes. For a lot of women, the peak of their attractiveness, the peak of their value in many cases. But that also means the peak of their chaos.
What I learned from being a slut in my 20s. The more that you hook up with guys, the less your faith that there are good men out there becomes.
As a man, I could say the same about women. You get to a point where you realize, yeah, none of them are faithful. It is just a turn. It's all just a turn. None of them are yours, but collectively, they're ours? Yeah.
And you become a self-fulfilling prophecy by hooking up with guys who don't have good intentions or who just want you for your body. You begin to believe that that's what you deserve and that's all that is out there.
By the end of so many bodies, that is all some women deserve. Small bodies.
More than that, you kind of become addicted to hookup culture for validation. Let me tell you something. When I stopped hooking up with guys, I found myself.
Did you? Well, you found yourself amongst all those bodies. It's good you pulled yourself out of that situation. Yeah.
I built up a foundation of self-worth and confidence that no man in the world could give me, except for maybe my dog. Yes, it is lonely to be single and not be touched, especially in this super touch-deprived culture, add COVID on top of that. But you know what's lonelier is hooking up with someone and never knowing where you stand. You're welcome. Follow for more dating tips.
What a lovely, healed, post-garden tool woman. New woman, yeah? What do they call themselves? A born-again virgin. Yeah, at their late 20s, early 30s. Some all the way up until 50. She's a born-again virgin after decades. Yeah. Okay, the harsh truth about women in their 20s. It's like she has just explained. It's exciting. It has a lot of variety. For a lot of women, their 20s are the spice of their life. The variety. Options. Options upon options upon options. In other words, what I'm saying amongst my waffle is the amount of men that are shooting their shots at women in their 20s is staggering. Women in their 20s, not all, obviously, a lot of them get so much male attention, they get bored of it very easy. They still want it. They still want the validation. But they get so much of it, they can get bored of it very easily. Thus, a lot of women in their 20s that get a lot of attention, they become very flaky, very arrogant, egotistical, think it will last forever, and they treat men according. So yes, they're having their fun, but they're also traumatizing the F out of a lot of other men. Men that may not be on a certain level, have a certain amount of money, whatever. The thing is, it's all based on time. It's all for a period of time. It's never forever, is it? It can't be forever, can it? And what young men, 18 to 20 plus, should understand about these women is, bruh, unless she's serious about you, do not take any of them, none of them, seriously. Do not take any of it personal. Frontal lobe, yeah, okay, we can say it exists on one hand. On another hand, women would cap and hide behind that frontal lobe thing to get away with their reckless, chaotic, freaky, promiscuous nature. Nothing wrong with a woman having fun, hey. A lot of young men were having fun with those women as well, so yay, hey, fun. But what young men should understand is, trying to find a girlfriend or a wife amongst these young women when they have access to attention from so many men, men of various levels of attractiveness, financial status, clout, they have access in abundance. And all she has to do is post a few hot pictures. Literally, that's all she has to do. Even a standard basic picture, because a lot of men are desperate. But yeah, of course, a lot of good-looking women in their 20s are flaky. They can afford to be so. The downside to all their hype and their airheadedness is it's temporary, because the fall off for many women in their 20s is, yeah, it's staggering. That's why the wall exists, because most hot 20-year-olds right now will never pass it. They hit into it and just, yeah, deteriorate. Still look good, still look decent. That's not the point, but never look like that again. She'll never look like that again. So it's no surprising they become more humble when they become older.
Hooking up with someone and never knowing where you stand.
I hope you're focused and on your square.
I've been boy sober for 24 years. I've never had a boyfriend. I haven't had my first kiss. And these are 5 things that if I hear one more time, I'm actually gonna lose my mind.
Okay, 24-year-old young girly pop. I'm gonna use her to add some balance. Now, obviously, she's saying that, she's an untouched girly pop, 24. She hasn't been out in the streets, running amok, chaotic, like a lot of other young, 24-year-old girly pops. No, She's saying she's a reserved woman and she hates the stereotype of young girly pops who are very flaky and reckless and arrogant and ignorant and thinks the sun shines out of their butt and from betwixt their legs. But it's like, it's not entirely the case for all of them, is it? No. But I'm going to use her to paint a broader picture.
Starting off with, I think my least favorite out of all of them is it'll happen when you least expect it. Oh my God. Everyone and their mothers says this to me when I tell them I've never been in a relationship.
I should tell them about their mother.
First kiss or whatever. Oh, it'll happen when you least expect it. Oh my God. I genuinely can't hear that one more time. Like, I'm never expecting it and it still, like, hasn't happened to me. I think it's different from, like, having in the back of your mind, like, knowing that's something that you do want and, like, wanting to have, like, a relationship and a boyfriend. But I think that, like, that's different from, like, expecting it. Because I'm not expecting it, but it's something I want.
Okay, compared to the first chick, this young woman is looking for seriousness. Not reckless fun, not hookups. Nah, seriousness. So it's not that she doesn't get attention. Come on, really. Young woman, of course she gets attention. But she's looking for something serious. Now, my point here is, just looking at her, without her telling you that, and, you know, you can't even be sure if that's even true, how would men even know? How would men not know that this is a chick out here on the streets, getting busy? How would men know? They wouldn't know, would they? What I'm saying is, it's become so skewed nowadays that men can't tell what a garden tool is. Like, what's a garden tool? Can you tell? Is it the way she dresses? Is it? What, you think that more reserved looking woman isn't, you know, a freak? Is she? Isn't she? The point is, you can't tell nowadays. The point is, the line between, you know, very loose and frisky, very free with the box women, whether they're selling it or whatever, is you can't tell nowadays. A lot of things have been so normalized, it's like, who's a garden tool? You can look at the exact same two women and can't tell which is a garden tool or not. And for a lot of young men, not only do they have to worry about, you know, not having the money to date the way they want to date yet, but they have to worry and think about, yo, is my woman even my woman? Am I a side dude? Am I an advanced friend zone? Like, yeah, you know, she gives me cheeks every now and again, but it's like, damn, I feel like I'm playing second or third fiddle to some other dude, you know? And even if he were, would it be surprising? Would it be surprising? The point is, this woman clearly could be everything she's fully saying she is. That's fine. But how would any young man know? How would any young man just believe it when they see for a fact there are a lot of women out there who look similar to this woman, but they're completely different? Completely different. Butter would melt in her mouth. Yeah, that's not butter, bro. That's not butter.
So obviously that's, like, gonna be on my mind. You know what I mean? But I'm not, like, expecting to just, like, get a boyfriend or, like, get something. I think the people that tell you that are people who are just, like, lucky and are in the right place at the right time, and that's why, like, it happens to them. Or just, some people are just, yeah, so lucky and they can somehow find relationships like this. And they have, like, rosters. And I'm like, yeah, I have nothing, but okay. The next one that also annoys me just as much almost as number one is you're not missing out on much, or like, oh, you're lucky, girl. Oh my God. I hear this one so much. Honestly, more than, like, it'll happen when you least expect it. Like, I know I'm not missing out on, like, a bad relationship with a toxic man who, like, is just horrible, a terrible man.
Yeah, but the thing is, a lot of women are lying to you, women, because a lot of them love those relationships. They're lying to you. And even as a woman, it's like she doesn't even know that herself yet, does she? Oh.
Surprise! The number of young single men in America is at a record high. This is why. According to Pew Research data that was released this week, a staggering 63% of men in their 20s are single, which is almost double that of women. Lonely men out there? Let's break down these numbers. Scholars say that women don't want to marry down, whereas in the past, men played a more significant dominant role in relationships. Women are now taking home 60% of all bachelor's degrees. And even though men still earn more money than women, that wage gap is slowly closing.
The way women gloat about this is, it's weird, isn't it? They get a thrill off it. This does not make women look good. It just proves a point. A lot of these younger women, they're dating older men. Yeah, that's one of the main reasons why the numbers are so skewed. Because sadly, the reality is for a lot of younger men, they're competing with millennials, Xers, and some boomers as well. There's some boomers out here still going ham. Yeah. And a simple point about older men is, yeah, they got the money. They've got the money. And when it comes to women, even hot 20-year-old women, money. Money. Yeah, money. Resources. A man in his 20s, unless he lives by himself, he's in university or something in a dorm, he may live at home. Yeah. Compared to an older man, a man around my age who may have his own home, his own vehicle, who can fly women out, fly out to women, book hotels, do all manner of simple things that won't cost him much. that would break the bank for a younger man. How's a younger man on minimum wage going to compete with an older man that has his life together? Yeah? How's he going to compete? He can't. Financially? No, he can't. Looks wise, yeah, of course. He's a younger man. Looks wise, yeah. Financially, no, he can't. So the numbers are skewed heavily because a lot of these younger women are getting ran through by older men. And it'd be one thing because people act as if it's, predatory older men, searching for women in their 20s. Yeah, on one hand, yeah. On another hand, a lot of these women in their 20s are putting themselves in position, yeah, to get spoken to by older men with money or with more, just slightly more. So let's stop the BS, let's stop the cap. A lot of these younger women, a lot of them are being taught by Shira 7-1, a lot of them are being taught to put themselves in position where men with money are. Usually, these are going to be older men. So here you have this woman gloating, but it doesn't show that these women are great. It just shows a lot of these women are very flaky. Young, hot 20-year-olds who once they burn out their youth, yeah, they're going to settle down with a sucker, if they're lucky.
It's now sitting at $43 a week. And that empowerment of young women is removing young men from the relationship equation. So then who are these young women dating? Some are dating and marrying slightly older men, which has been a thing for centuries. And others are more openly dating each other. There's more to it than just changing social dynamics. Women are also tired of dating emotionally unavailable and distant men, which is a larger issue in male relationships in general. Research shows that more men than women are friendless and lonely, and only half of single men are even looking for a committed relationship or even going on casual dates. They just want friends. And the social disconnect actually has really tragic consequences. Like the young male unalive rate is 4 times that of women. And all this.
Well, yeah, it would be, because a lot of young men are trying to find themselves, but being bombarded by so much misinformation that they assume they need to be these super amazing alpha males at 18 years old. Even 20 years old, even whatever flipping age. It's like, yo, young men, you're young men. Be young men. Take your time to grow. All of the older men that are grown men now, they were never those dudes to begin with. It took them time to become those dudes, to even call themselves an alpha male. So don't do all that bollocks. It's fucking stupid. And because the future does seem bleak for a lot of young men, it's like, what am I even going to fight for? One of these women here that potentially ran through garden tool. Yeah, some men see it like that. It's not always the case. A lot of the times it is, though. A lot of men don't feel as if there's a future to even want to, work towards. Well, that's where I think a lot of young men go wrong. That's when I think a lot of young men are focusing too much of their young life around women. Look back to what I've just said. A lot of these younger women are throwing themselves at older men with money. If you're going to spend your entire life being a young man, okay, you don't get women now. If women are so much of your focus and you do actually want them, sitting there in your 20s and wasting it, doing nothing, is more stupid than being annoyed at women for not picking you now. A lot of men have to wait, but the point a lot of young men don't understand is a lot of older men had to wait anyway. They pretend they didn't. Yeah, they did. Yeah, they did. You either become comfortable with yourself as a single man, or you stress yourself out about something that you may realize in the end this was never even worth it anyway. The hell was I stressing myself out about this for? They were never even worth it.
Research compounds with a 2021 Gallup poll, which found that American men are experiencing a friendship recession, with nearly 1 in 6 American men reporting not having a single close friend. Female empowerment is one thing, but if relationships and friendships are both falling for men, where does that leave us in the future?
I don't know. Maybe a lot of people robots. I don't know.
Ban on women marrying after 25, the bizarre proposal to boost birth rate in Japan. Japan's noted writer and Conservative Party leader Naoki Hyakura has apologized after his comments on women, and the falling birth rate in the country sparked criticism.
Now, obviously, recent article, a lot of controversy, obviously. The falling birth rate is a worldwide thing. I mean, every flipping continent are complaining about falling birth rates to a degree. But the drastic steps being taken to women in their 20s is interesting. Now, this guy's going too far. This guy, he was jumping out the window. But obviously, he's desperate. He sees the future. Without young people, there is no future. You need young people. But a lot of young people, both men and women, are either not bothering with each other or bothering with each other in reckless, chaotic, hookup, freaky modern culture ways. So babies aren't being made en masse. But a lot of people are having fun, and even more are lonely. Interesting.
He said that to boost the nation's birth rate, women should be banned from marriage after the age of 25 and from removing their uterus post the age of 30.
Damn.
The leader of Japan's Conservative Party sparked an uproar by advocating for a ban on women marrying after the age of 25 and having their uteruses removed at the age of 30. This proposal was part of an overall discussion on the country's aging population and the problems it faces as a result of the falling birth rate. Naoki Hayakawa, the leader of the Conservative Party, apologized after his comments sparked an immediate and sharp criticism.
I mean, it is drastic, isn't it? It is drastic. And similar to what's going on in the USA and in the UK as well, women complaining about their rights because a lot of countries are suffering from, falling birth rates. But here's my point. It's like they don't want to admit that part of the problem is and stems from feminism. I mean, they made women liberated. They gave women all this sexual liberation, which is, good on one hand. But what's the long-term effect? Yeah? Oh yeah, freaky, promiscuous modern women. To what end?
Here's what I've learned being single 7 months after being in a relationship for 4 years that should have left earlier. First of all, take your time. If you don't want to talk to a single male, you don't need to. But if you do, then do it and have fun with it. It doesn't need to be serious. It's not like high school. Just because you're hanging out with someone, you don't need to make things official. It's what you want to make of it. My personal favorite part is being independent. I am so independent now. I actually prefer to be alone sometimes, which couldn't be me before. I'm not afraid to stay in. I'm not afraid to go out. I do whatever I want to do. I am so content being alone. I have so much fun alone. I've learned so much about myself that I didn't know before. Also,
young girly pop slapping on her makeup, talking about the spice, the varieties of spice of life. Flip's sake, man. You get the point. Talking about the spice in the variety of her life. It's spicy, isn't it? Now, we don't know what that means. Using her as an example, we're not saying she's promiscuous, a promiscuous 20-year-old. We don't know that. But this is part of the problem a lot of young men are having. How can they compete? How can a man in his 20s who hasn't made it yet compete with a young, hot 20-year-old woman who has made it? She has achieved a decent amount in her young career. She's a young, hot girly pop. She would have had opportunities open to her. And a lot of older men with money would have helped her on her journey. So it's very easy for a lot of young women, especially good-looking ones, to get further in life quicker than a lot of men. So how could any young 20-plus-year-old man, who's probably still, living at home, probably just about afforded his car and a PlayStation 5, how can he compete with a woman who, maybe because of help, has achieved slightly more in her hot early 20 years? Yeah? What can he offer her apart from knob, penis, basically? So on one hand, you can understand a lot of young men would see young women like this and understand, I'd never get a woman like this until I'm probably older, or I could afford her. Not saying all these women out here are, the pros. In some way, yeah, they are. But just to have the money, and the money can therefore lead to confidence, just to even have the finances to give a man confidence to even talk to certain women, that's what a lot of young men are dealing with nowadays. Bruh, do you even have enough money to even talk to her? It's a very simple thing. And this is why I will always encourage men to get on their game, get on their square, and stay on their square. Because one thing a lot of men with money, men that went from having none to having some, one thing a lot of them will tell you is how shallow women are when it comes to money, and how over time you will look at them again and think, oh my God, to think I really simped so much, think I really jumped out the window so much for you, for her, for them. Please, let me get my money. I'm worth so much more. And that's something a lot of young men don't understand yet. When you understand your worth beyond these broads, it's like, Jesus Christ, my God. You understand they're not going anywhere. They never were going anywhere. And it's weird how easy they become when you stop taking them seriously. My God.
so much fun alone. I've learned so much about myself that I didn't know before. Also, am learning to love myself and truly myself. Have my energy back. I'm attracting good energy because my energy is good. I'm so confident. I'm so happy. And my friendships are the strongest they've ever been because I don't have negative energy affecting me anymore. So you only have to worry about yourself. Nice to not worry about what someone else is doing and do whatever the heck you want to do. Fun to take risks and travel and meet people that you wouldn't meet before and just put yourself out there and get
lovely woman. Example. I mean, she's waffling a lot, isn't she? But yeah.
Butterflies again and flirting and I don't know. It's just fun. And just remember what's meant for you will find. So go live your life because I'm telling you, it's a lot of fun.
Single women in their 20s are lovely. They are gorgeous, of course. But because of that, they are reckless. They do become the most reckless they will ever be in their life. They calm down when they get older. Just never take it personal. Have a nice day.
What I learned from being a slut